Chosen one. There's a reason you're here right now in this exact moment. You didn't just stumble on this message while scrolling. This moment was set for you, marked in the unseen, long before you even knew you'd need it. I can feel it. You've been carrying a weight in your spirit that you can't quite name, a quiet exhaustion deep in your bones, the kind that comes from walking through invisible storms that no one else around you can see. And yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still listening for something that feels like home to your soul. This isn't random. You've passed through a season where heaven has been testing not your strength, but your heart. There were moments you thought you failed, moments you questioned if you'd even make it to this point. But I'm here to tell you, you did. You passed. And now, God's presence, whether you felt it or not, is closer than it has ever been. Before this week ends, something is going to shift in your life. You may not recognize it immediately, but a door has already been unlocked in the spiritual. The ground beneath you has been changing while you were still in the dark. I can't tell you exactly what's coming because this part, chosen one, is meant for you to walk through with trust. But I can tell you, it's going to confirm every quiet hope you've been afraid to admit you still hold. You've been walking through days where the silence was louder than any answer. Nights when the stillness felt like abandonment. You've prayed and felt the echo instead of the reply. You've asked, why me? Why this? Why now? And the heavens stayed still. But what you didn't see is that in that silence, something inside you was being refined. Every tear, every lonely step, every closed door. It wasn't punishment. It was proof. Proof that you were being prepared for something that requires the kind of endurance only found on the other side of breaking. And here's the thing. The world will never tell you this. They will tell you to move on, to push past it, to bury it. But heaven has been watching you hold on, even when it felt like your fingers were slipping. And because you didn't let go, because you kept walking, because you didn't sell your soul for comfort, you are standing right here, right now, on the edge of a season that will show you why the last one had to be so hard. Now, I need you to hear me. If you click away from this message, you may miss the very confirmation you've been praying for. This is not just another video. This is a divine appointment, and I don't say that lightly. You've been waiting for a sign, a word, a nudge. This is it. If your spirit is already stirring while you're listening, if something in your chest feels like it's waking up again, I want you to type 777 in the comments right now. Not for me, but as a way of saying, I receive this. I'm here. I'm listening. That action might seem small, but in the unseen, it's a declaration. You're telling the darkness that it didn't break you. You're telling the light that you're ready. Chosen one, you've passed God's test. And the moment you truly believe that, everything around you will start to respond differently. The people who overlooked you will sense your shift before you even say a word. The atmosphere around you will feel different. Even the way you wake up in the morning will carry a new weight, because you will know you are no longer in survival. You are stepping into purpose. Breathe with me now. Let your shoulders drop. Feel the light in your chest expand. You've carried enough heaviness. This is the space where you can set it down for a moment. In this channel, in this moment, you don't have to perform. You don't have to explain. You just have to receive. I know you've been tired of waiting. I know you've been looking at the clock, wondering if heaven even remembers your name. But what if I told you? This whole time, heaven has been watching, recording, preparing. That your test wasn't to see if you could win, it was to see if you could stay true when nothing was changing. And you did. You stayed. That's why you're about to rise. So before we go any further, make a choice. Right now, you can click away, go back to the noise, the endless scrolling, the distraction, and lose the clarity your soul's been crying for. Or you can stay until the end, stay, and receive the words that were meant to confirm what your spirit already knows. And if you do, you'll walk away lighter, stronger, remembering. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon, because this isn't the last time you'll need a space like this. And when the next wave of heaviness tries to take you under, I want you to remember there's a place you can come to rest your soul. Stay with me now. What comes next will remind you exactly why you were chosen. Chosen one. Before any great shift in your life, there is always a whisper, not a shout, not a trumpet blast, a whisper. And most people miss it, not because they aren't worthy to hear it, but because the world has trained them to only respond to noise. But you have always been different. Somewhere deep inside, even in the noisiest seasons of your life, you've known how to hear the quiet. You felt that faint stirring in your spirit, even when you couldn't explain it to anyone else. This whisper doesn't sound like words in your ear. It sounds like a restlessness in your bones, a subtle unease with things that used to satisfy you. You start to notice that the conversations you once loved now feel empty. The routines that once brought comfort now feel like cages. You can't explain why the same people, same places, same habits that once made you feel safe now feel like they're draining you. It's not that they've changed, it's that you have. Breathe with me now. Feel that shift in your chest. That's the part of you that knows when something in the unseen is moving. You see, the whisper before the storm isn't about chaos, it's about alignment. Heaven will start rearranging things before you ever see the outcome. People will leave your life. Opportunities will close. Doors you thought were meant for you will lock without warning. And if you're not tuned in, you'll think it's loss. But in truth, it's the first sign that something greater is on the way. You've felt this, haven't you? That strange combination of anticipation and fear. It's as if your soul knows there's a new chapter waiting, but your mind is still clinging to the last one. And it's uncomfortable, because the in-between is always the hardest place to stand. You're no longer who you were, but you're not yet who you're becoming. In this space, heaven speaks in subtle ways. You might see numbers repeating on clocks, receipts, license plates. You might find yourself waking up at the same time every night, not knowing why. Certain memories rise to the surface for no apparent reason, asking you to look at them again. These are not random. They are small divine taps on your shoulder, pulling your attention toward the shift ahead. But here's where most people get stuck. They confuse the whisper for doubt. They think, maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe I'm just bored. Maybe I should just be grateful for what I have. Gratitude is sacred, yes, but it should never be used as a cage to keep you from the places you're meant to grow into. The whisper is not telling you to reject your blessings. It's telling you to prepare for more. And let me tell you, chosen one, the whisper always comes before the storm, because the storm will test what you've heard. Before you step into purpose, you will face resistance that will try to convince you the whisper was a lie. That's why you must anchor yourself in it now, before the winds pick up, before the rain falls, before the first lightning strike. I want you to imagine standing in a quiet field right before a storm. The sky is heavy but still. The air smells different, charged, alive. The birds are silent. The wind pauses, as if the whole world is holding its breath. That's what this season in your life feels like. It's not here to harm you. It's here to announce that something is breaking open above you, even if you can't see it yet. This is the part where your spirit is tested, not in your ability to fight, but in your ability to trust. The whisper asks, will you move forward even if you don't have the whole map? It asks, will you release what no longer fits even before you know what's coming next? And I know you've been here before, times in your life where you felt this same stirring, but maybe back then you ignored it. You stayed too long. You held on to what was already ending, and you paid the price in heartbreak, confusion, or wasted years. But this time, You're wiser. This time you know that ignoring the whisper is far more dangerous than following it. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That's what the whisper does. It brings the hidden into the light. It asks you to notice what you've been pretending not to see. It invites you to become conscious of your next step, so that when the storm comes, you don't mistake it for destruction. You recognize it as delivery. And here's the truth that will free you. The whisper is not random and it is not fragile. If you're meant to hear it, you will. Even if you get distracted, even if you doubt, even if you delay, it will keep circling back to you until you respond. It's heaven's way of saying, "We're not moving without you." So, what do you do in this season? You slow down. You listen without rushing to fix. You stop trying to make sense of it all too quickly. You let the unease sit with you instead of pushing it away. Because in that unease is the seed of your next breakthrough. Take a moment now. What in your life feels like it's shifting beneath the surface? What conversations, opportunities, or places no longer feel aligned? Which dreams have been quietly waking up inside you again? Don't dismiss these signals. Write them down, speak them out loud, honor them. Chosen one, the whisper before the storm is not here to scare you, it's here to prepare you. And if you can trust it now when it's quiet, you will stand firm later when everything starts moving. You'll remember that you were warned, that you were guided, that you were held. You've passed God's test not because you fought harder than anyone else, but because you stayed open enough to hear the whisper when others would have drowned it out. And for that, the next part of your journey will not catch you by surprise. Breathe with me. Let the air fill your chest. And as you exhale, imagine every old chain breaking off you. You are stepping into a season where the whisper becomes a voice, and the voice becomes a call, and the call becomes a destiny you can no longer outrun. Stay with me, because in the next chapter, we're going back to the beginning, to the first signs that you were never like everyone else, even when you didn't yet know why. Chosen one, before the world ever tried to shape you, you came here with a design heaven had already marked. You didn't just happen, you were sent. And if you look back closely, you'll see the signs were always there. Even in your earliest memories, there was something about you that didn't blend in, no matter how hard you tried. As a child, you may have been quiet, watching everything while others rushed through life without noticing the details. Or maybe you were the one always asking questions that made adults pause, not knowing how to answer. You could feel the room without anyone speaking. You knew when something was wrong before anyone admitted it. You sensed things, emotions, shifts, truths, long before they were visible. You didn't have the words for it back then. You might have thought everyone felt things the way you did. But over time, you began to realize they didn't. Your way of seeing the world was different, and instead of being celebrated, it was often misunderstood. People might have called you too sensitive or told you to stop overthinking. Some may have even mocked the way you cared so deeply, as if compassion was a weakness instead of the strength it truly is. But even then, you couldn't stop being who you were. That sensitivity was not an accident. It was your earliest training. It was heaven's way of tuning your heart so finely that you could one day hear what others miss. You weren't made to walk blind through this life. You were made to walk aware. Think back to the moments you felt like an outsider. In school, maybe you sat on the edge of the group, close enough to listen, but far enough to see the whole picture. At home, maybe you were the one noticing the cracks no one talked about. You didn't just see what was happening. You felt the why beneath it. That knowing was not born from logic alone. It was something deeper. Chosen one, even as a child, you carried a wisdom your age couldn't explain. That wisdom made some people uncomfortable. It made others drawn to you without knowing why. You may have found yourself being a confidant to people much older than you. Strangers might have opened up their stories to you in unexpected places. On a bus, in a store, during a casual conversation. because something in your presence told them they were safe. But being set apart also came with its own loneliness. When you tried to share your dreams, your visions, your ideas, they were sometimes met with confusion or dismissal. You learned early what it felt like to have a voice but no audience, a heart full of truth but no one ready to receive it. And so, you started carrying more inside than you spoke out loud. Still, your inner world was alive. You imagined more than what you saw. You could sit in silence and feel an entire story unfolding in your mind. Nature spoke to you in ways you couldn't explain. The wind carried messages, the sky shifted moods, the trees felt like ancient witnesses. When other children played games without meaning, you looked for patterns, symbols, and hidden lessons. This is why, even now, you can't ignore when something stirs in your spirit. You were trained from birth to notice the unseen, and while others may dismiss this as coincidence, you know better. Your life has taught you that what begins in the invisible eventually shapes the visible. You've also felt the cost of this calling from an early age. Your honesty sometimes made others defensive. Your insight could pierce through facades people weren't ready to drop. There were times you wished you could unsee, unknow, unfeel, just to belong. But every time you tried to dim your light, you felt the ache of betraying yourself. Chosen one, you need to hear this. Your difference was not rejection from the world. It was protection for your purpose. If you had fit in everywhere, you would have been shaped by places that were never meant to hold you. Your edges would have been sanded down until you were unrecognizable to yourself. Instead, that sense of not belonging kept you from being trapped in rooms that could not contain your destiny. Remember those childhood moments when you felt like you were on the outside looking in? That wasn't you being left behind. That was you being positioned to see what those on the inside could not. You were given the vantage point of the watchman, the one who sees the horizon before the others. And now, in this season, that same perspective is waking up in you again. There is a reason certain memories from your early years keep resurfacing now. They are not random flashes. They are reminders of who you have always been. You might remember the first time you defended someone who couldn't defend themselves, or the first time you spoke truth, even though it made people uncomfortable, or the first time you felt a strange pull towards something bigger than your surroundings, even if you didn't yet know what it was. Breathe with me. Let those memories rise without judgment. Feel how even then, you were already walking in pieces of your purpose. You may not have had the language for it, but your soul was already rehearsing for the calling you carry now. And here's what's important. You were not wrong for being different. You were early to awareness, early to sensitivity, early to truth. The world will tell you that you need to catch up to its pace, but heaven knows the world is actually behind you. You've been carrying a frequency it can't tune into until the appointed time. That time, chosen one, is now. From the moment you took your first breath, you were marked, not to be better than anyone else, but to carry something they could not. And because of that, life would not allow you to get too comfortable in the ordinary. The discomfort you felt your whole life is the echo of your true home calling you back. Stay with me, because in the next chapter, we're going to dismantle one of the greatest lies you've ever been told, that you've missed your moment. You haven't. You're exactly on time. Chosen one. One of the heaviest lies you've ever carried is the belief that you've missed your chance, that somehow the years you've lived have been wasted, that too much time has passed for the dreams you once held to ever come alive again. But hear me. There is no such thing as wasted time in the hands of heaven. What you call delay, heaven calls preparation. You've looked around and seen others reach milestones faster, careers built, families formed, dreams realized. And you've wondered, what's wrong with me? Why am I still here waiting? The enemy of your soul would love for you to believe that this waiting is proof you failed. But in truth, it's proof that your assignment requires a different pace. Breathe with me. Feel the weight of that lie loosening. You see, your life is not a race against anyone else's timeline. It's a journey built around divine precision. Every detour, every pause, every closed door has been part of an exact sequence that ensures when you arrive ready. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." That pain you've endured, of watching others pass you by, of holding dreams in your hands only to see them dissolve, has been part of the awakening process. It has kept you from living a shallow version of your purpose. It has deepened your roots so your growth can last. Look back at the years you thought were meaningless. Weren't those the years you learned who you could trust? Weren't they the years you discovered what truly matters? You've walked through seasons that stripped away illusions. You've learned to live without applause, to keep moving without validation. And now, that strength is part of your foundation. The world will tell you that success must come early to be real. But think of the oak tree. It spends years unseen, growing deep roots before it ever reaches the sky. If it rushed that process, the first strong wind would take it down. You, chosen one, have been growing roots. And because of that, when you rise, you will not fall. I know there are nights you've looked at the ceiling and thought, if I had just started earlier, if I hadn't made that mistake, if I hadn't wasted those years. But what if those so-called wasted years were the exact ones that protected you from entering your purpose unprepared? If you had stepped into your calling too soon, you might have carried the wrong people with you. You might have built on weak ground. You might have been crushed by the very blessing you were asking for. Midlife is not a sign you're late. It's a sign you're right on schedule. At this stage, your spirit has matured enough to handle the weight of your assignment. You can see through flattery. You can discern real opportunities from traps. You have the resilience to endure challenges that would have broken the younger you. Breathe and remember, destiny is not rushed. It's revealed. And when it's revealed, everything you thought you lost is redeemed in ways you couldn't imagine. What you think took years to build can shift in a single moment of divine timing. Doors that were locked for decades can swing open in a day. Relationships that seemed over can be restored overnight. Resources you never had access to can appear without warning. Think about it. If heaven has been watching you all this time, do you really believe the years behind you are useless? Number. They are the proof you've endured, the evidence you can be trusted. When the world says you're too old, heaven says you're finally ready. There's another layer to this. Sometimes the reason for your delay is because what you're called to do doesn't yet exist in the form it needs to. The world may not have been ready for your voice, your vision, your presence, until now. What you carry has a set time to be revealed, and if you were early, it would have been ignored. But now, the stage is set, and your absence has created a space only you can fill. The truth is, chosen one, you couldn't have started this earlier even if you tried. You didn't miss your moment. You were being hidden until your moment could meet you. That is why this season feels different. There's a quiet urgency in your spirit. You're not desperate, you're ready. And readiness feels like peace wrapped in fire. Viktor Frankl once wrote, "Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose." You've been searching for that meaning. The circumstances have been hard, but it's the lack of clarity that's been unbearable. That's why now, as your purpose comes into focus, the heaviness will begin to lift. Not because everything will suddenly be easy, but because you will finally know why it was worth it. You are not behind. You are in rhythm with the beat that was set for your life long before you knew how to listen for it. And if you can trust that, you'll stop comparing your timeline to anyone else's. You'll see that what is meant for you cannot be taken, cannot be delayed beyond its appointed time. and cannot be wasted. So the next time the thought comes, "I've missed it, it's too late," breathe and declare the truth. I am exactly where I need to be. I am prepared. I am in divine timing. Say it until it feels like it's yours. Stay with me, because in the next chapter, we're going to step into the space most people fear the most, the years when nothing seems to happen. And I'm going to show you why those silent years were actually the holiest of all. Chosen one, there comes a season when the world goes quiet around you. Opportunities slow, invitations fade. People you once spoke to daily drift into the distance. At first it feels like loss, like you've been forgotten. But what if I told you, these are not wasted years. These are the holy hidden years. This is the womb of your next season. Just as a child forms in the unseen, your calling is shaped in places no one can watch. The cocoon that holds a caterpillar in darkness is not punishment, it's transformation. The silence you've been walking through isn't absence, it's strategy. Heaven hides what it's building so it can grow strong enough to survive the light. Think about the desert seasons in your life. Nothing blooming, nothing moving, the air dry and still. In those moments you wondered if heaven had withdrawn. But the truth is, the desert is where distractions die. It's where voices fade so you can hear the one that matters. It's where you learn the sound of your own soul without the noise of the crowd. In your hidden years, you are stripped down to what is essential. Relationships that were never meant to carry the weight of your future will dissolve. Identities you built to survive will crumble. Roles you thought defined you will fall away. And though it feels like loss, what's really happening is this. The false layers are being removed so the true you can finally breathe. Breathe with me now. Inhale deeply and let the air remind you you're still alive, still becoming. The hidden years are not about speed. They are about depth. Roots grow best in the dark, and so do you. You may not see it, but these years are filled with sacred assignments. Learning to sit with yourself, hearing your own voice without the echo of others, discovering that your worth was never tied to how visible you were. It's in this hiddenness that you learn to create from truth instead of for applause. But the hidden years are not easy. There are nights when you'll ache to be seen, to be chosen, to be remembered. There will be days when you feel invisible in a world obsessed with visibility. In those moments, the temptation is to force your way back into the light. But if you step out too soon, the growth will be incomplete. The wings will still be wet. The hidden years also expose what still needs to be healed. Old wounds rise to the surface because there is finally space to face them. Fears you buried start whispering again, asking to be released. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You can't carry old poison into a new season. The desert is the place where you empty your hands so you can carry what's coming. Chosen one, you may not realize it, but heaven often sends the greatest revelations in obscurity. When no one is watching, you can hear the instructions for your next chapter. You can receive strategies, visions, and ideas that the noise of the crowd would have drowned out. This is where you learn the difference between moving and being moved. The womb, the cocoon, the desert. Each of these is a space of divine concealment. In the womb, life forms. In the cocoon, beauty is crafted. In the desert, strength is forged. Without these spaces, purpose is fragile. With them, purpose becomes unstoppable. It's in the hidden years that you discover how to stand alone. Not in bitterness, but in quiet confidence. Not because you don't need anyone, but because you've learned to need the right ones. You realize that loneliness is not always a lack. It's an invitation to deeper connection with the one who sent you here. Clarissa Pinkola Este once wrote, "The doors to the world of the wild self are few but precious. If you have a deep scar, that is a door. If you have an old story, that is a door." Your hidden years are filled with such doors. Each scar, each silent season, each goodbye is a threshold into a truer version of yourself. And when the time comes for you to emerge, you won't need to announce it. The change will be visible without explanation. The same people who forgot you will see you and not understand how you became who you are now. That's the power of the hidden years. They turn your becoming into something undeniable. So, if you are in them now, don't despise them. Don't rush them. Don't call them wasted. Call them holy. See them as the sacred workshop where heaven is crafting a version of you that can stand in the light without breaking under its weight. Breathe again, deeper this time. Let yourself release the urgency to arrive. Trust that you are not being delayed, you are being readied. And when the doors open, you'll realize the hiding was never to keep you out, it was to build you up. Stay with me. Because in the next chapter, we're going to face one of the most painful realities of being chosen. How your very light can make others turn away, and why that rejection is not the end of you, but the beginning. Chosen one. No one tells you this in the beginning. Carrying light comes with a cost. Not everyone will celebrate the illumination you bring. In fact, some will turn away, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your presence reveals what they aren't ready to face. Your light is a mirror, and not everyone wants to look into it. From an early age, you might have noticed that your kindness was sometimes met with suspicion. Your honesty made people uncomfortable. Your ability to see through pretenses could turn warm rooms cold. You weren't trying to expose anyone, you were just being yourself. But light, by its very nature, uncovers what's hidden. And those still clinging to the shadows will often reject the one holding the lamp. This rejection is not always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. A friend who stops calling, an invitation that never comes, a conversation that ends quicker than it should. Sometimes it's subtle glances or the way the air changes when you walk into a room. Other times it's direct, people questioning your motives, twisting your words, or accusing you of things you've never done. At first, it hurts deeply. You wonder if you've done something to deserve it. You try to explain yourself, to soften your edges, to dim your light so others feel more comfortable. But the more you shrink, the more it costs you. Because you can't betray the essence of who you are without wounding yourself. Breathe with me now. Feel the weight of that truth. You were not sent here to be universally accepted. You were sent here to be unmistakably authentic. The world does not need another version of what it already has. It needs the exact light you carry, even if some reject it. There's a strange loneliness that comes with being chosen. You can be surrounded by people and still feel set apart. You can be loved and still feel unseen. This is because your calling requires a level of perception and endurance that not everyone shares. You are not just living for yourself, you are carrying a frequency meant to shift the atmosphere for others. That kind of responsibility is heavy, and it can't be understood by those who haven't walked this path. The cost of carrying light is that you will outgrow people, and they will resent you for it. You will heal from wounds they are still nursing, and they will mistake your healing for pride. You will refuse to engage in the same cycles, and they will call you distant. You will speak truth into situations where silence has been the norm, and they will see you as a disruptor. But here's the truth. Your presence will never be neutral. It will either inspire change or provoke resistance, sometimes both at once. And neither outcome is proof you are wrong. It is proof you are carrying something real. Think about the times you've been misunderstood, the times when your good intentions were twisted, the moments when you were accused of being too much or too intense or too serious. Those moments were not evidence of your failure. They were evidence that you were bringing something into the room that the room was not ready for. The invisible cost of being chosen is that your journey can feel isolating. There will be stretches of the road where you walk alone. But solitude is not the same as abandonment. It is in those stretches that your light grows stronger, clearer, purer. You learn to carry it without needing constant affirmation. Breathe again. Feel the truth that your worth is not measured by who stays. Some will leave because your light makes them uncomfortable. Others will leave because their part in your story is complete. Let them. Clinging to what's trying to exit your life will only dim the light you fought so hard to keep burning. The people who are meant for you will not be blinded by your light. They will be guided by it. They will see in you a reflection of what they are becoming. They will walk beside you without needing you to shrink. They will honor the cost you've paid instead of resenting it. These are the ones worth keeping close. You were never meant to carry your light for approval. You were meant to carry it for impact. And impact often happens silently, without your awareness. A single word you speak, a single act of compassion, a single refusal to compromise your integrity. These are seeds planted in places you may never see bloom. But they bloom nonetheless. Remember this, rejection is often heaven's protection. When people walk away, it is not always a loss. Sometimes it is the clearing of space so the ones aligned with your next chapter can find you. So the next time you feel the sting of misunderstanding, breathe and remind yourself, I am light. I am meant to shine, even if it exposes what others would rather keep hidden. You have not been called to make everyone comfortable. You have been called to make the truth visible. Stay with me, because in the next chapter we will talk about the one thing that has been guiding you all along, your inner compass, and how to trust it again after years of being told to ignore it. Chosen one, the world has tried to convince you that the answers you seek are always outside of you, hidden in someone else's wisdom, locked inside systems, buried in other people's approval. But deep down, you've always known the truth. The truest guidance you will ever receive has been with you from the beginning. It lives in you. It's the compass in your chest. This compass doesn't speak in shouts. It whispers in feelings, in sudden knowing, in the way your body tenses when something is wrong and relaxes when you are aligned. It has been guiding you since your earliest days, long before you had the words for what it was. Some call it intuition. Some call it the inner voice. Some call it the knowing. Whatever you name it, it's the same truth. It's heaven's signal inside you, tuned specifically to your path. But somewhere along the way, you were told not to trust it. Maybe you were told to ignore your instincts and follow the crowd. Maybe you were made to feel foolish for noticing what others pretended wasn't there. You learned to silence your knowing in order to belong. You learned to seek permission before taking steps you already knew you were meant to take. Breathe with me now. Place your hand over your chest and feel that steady rhythm. That's not just your heart keeping you alive. It's the drumbeat of your purpose. That inner compass has never left you. Even in the seasons you ignored it, it was still pointing toward the truth. You know the moments I'm talking about. The times you just knew something wasn't right, even when it looked perfect on paper. The times you felt pulled toward an opportunity that didn't make sense to anyone else. The nights you couldn't sleep because your spirit wouldn't let you settle for less. That was your compass, working, guiding, warning, nudging. The more you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. But here's the thing. Listening often means going against the flow. It means making choices others won't understand. It means walking away from things everyone else would cling to. And yes, it can be lonely. But loneliness is better than betraying yourself. Your compass is also tied to your sensitivity. The dreams you have that feel more like messages than stories. The sudden images or words that come to you when you're quiet. The way your energy shifts when you step into certain spaces or speak with certain people. These are all ways your compass speaks. Sometimes it will tell you to wait when you're desperate to move. Sometimes it will tell you to leap when you're terrified to leave the ground. It doesn't speak to your comfort. It speaks to your calling. And if you follow it, you'll find yourself in places you could never have reached by logic alone. Think of it as a thread in the dark. You can't see the whole path, but you can feel the pull. Each small step you take in trust strengthens the connection. Ignore it too long, and the pull becomes faint. Not because it's gone, but because your attention is elsewhere. But the moment you return to it, it will still be there, ready to lead you forward. Breathe again. Ask yourself right now, what is my compass saying? Not what do I want it to say? Not what will make me comfortable? But what is the deep truth it's pointing me toward? The answer might not be easy. It might require letting go of something familiar. But the compass has never been wrong. The world trains us to value speed, noise, and consensus. Your compass values alignment, stillness, and truth. This is why it's so important to create space to hear it. That might mean starting your day in silence before the world's demands rush in. It might mean journaling at night, letting your thoughts spill onto the page until the deeper voice rises to the surface. It might mean simply closing your eyes in the middle of a hectic day and asking, where am I being led right now? Trusting your compass will not always make your life easier, but it will make it truer. And a true life is worth infinitely more than a comfortable lie. When you follow it, you will look back and see how it protected you from harm, led you to divine connections, and placed you in the exact right place at the exact right time. Chosen one, the compass in your chest is the most faithful guide you will ever have. And in this season, it's calling you to trust it again, fully, without hesitation. You don't need another sign, another opinion, another round of overthinking. You already know. Stay with me. Because in the next chapter, we'll talk about a shift that is happening right now, a recall of the first wave of chosen ones, and why you might be feeling that undeniable pull to step out of one season and into another. Chosen one. There is a stirring happening right now in the unseen. It's not random. It's not just a shift in your mood or an unexplainable restlessness. It's a recall, a calling back of the first wave of those marked for this moment. And you can feel it. This isn't the gentle pull you felt before. This is different. It's deeper, heavier, more urgent. It's as if something in you knows a chapter has ended, even if your mind hasn't caught up yet. The conversations that used to matter now feel hollow. The roles you've played for years suddenly feel too small. The places that once felt like home now feel like a coat you've outgrown. The recall happens when a season's purpose has been fulfilled. Heaven doesn't leave you where you've been out of habit. It moves you when the assignment in that place is complete. Sometimes it's obvious. A door closes, a relationship ends, a job shifts. Other times it's quiet. You simply wake up one day and know, I can't stay here anymore. Breathe with me now. Let your chest rise and fall as you take that in. You're not restless because you're ungrateful. You're restless because you're ready. The recall is also a separation. Not everyone can go where you're going. There are people, environments, and even versions of yourself that can't cross this next threshold with you. And that's where the grief comes in. Because it's not always easy to release what's been familiar, even when it no longer fits. You might find yourself grieving people who are still alive, grieving places you can still visit, grieving dreams you once carried with all your heart. But grief is not proof you're wrong. It's proof you're human. Let yourself feel it, but don't let it keep you where you no longer belong. Sometimes, heaven will even make the old season uncomfortable so you can't stay. Opportunities will dry up. The joy you once felt in certain spaces will fade. Conversations that used to feed you will now leave you hungry. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It's the divine way of saying, your time here is done. And when the recall happens, you might not have all the details of what's next. That's on purpose. If you saw the whole picture, you might run ahead without receiving the final instructions. This part of the journey is about trust, trusting that the same one who called you out will also lead you in. Think of it like a gate opening in the sky. For years it's been locked. and you've been waiting at its base, wondering when it would turn. Now the latch has been released. The gate swings open, and the path beyond it is lit. Not the whole path, but enough for your next step. That's all you need to move forward. The recall isn't just about location or career. It's about alignment. It's about being where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, with the people you're supposed to be with. It's about your gifts finally meeting their appointed place. It's about stepping into the next chapter without dragging the dead weight of the old one behind you. Breathe again. Ask yourself, what am I being asked to release right now? Whose voice am I being asked to stop listening to? What space am I being asked to step out of, even if it scares me? These are the questions of the recall. The recall is also about acceleration. The time between hearing the call and stepping into the new season is shorter now. What used to take years to unfold will start happening in months, even weeks. The pace will feel unfamiliar, but you've been prepared for it. All those hidden years, all that waiting, all that refining, it was for this moment. You might notice that others around you aren't feeling this same pull. That's because the recall is selective. It's not about better or worse, it's about timing. Not everyone's time is now, but yours is. And that's why the tension you feel is not going away. It's building until you respond. There's a courage required here, because once you step out, there's no going back. You'll look at the old season and realize you've outgrown it completely. And even if you tried to return, it would no longer hold you. This is the sign that the recall is real. You can't unknow what you now know. So, chosen one, when you feel that undeniable pull in your spirit, don't fight it. Don't talk yourself out of it. Don't wait for everyone to understand. Trust the timing. Trust the release. Trust that every goodbye in this season is making space for a greater hello. Stay with me, because in the next chapter, we'll talk about what happens after you answer the recall, how those who once ignored or rejected you will suddenly look for you again, and why they won't be able to reach you. Chosen one, there will come a moment after you step into your new season when the very people who dismissed you, overlooked you, or underestimated you will begin to search for you. They won't be able to explain why, but something in them will know you carry what they need now. They will remember the words you spoke, the presence you carried, the light you didn't hide, even when they couldn't receive it then. This shift doesn't happen by accident. It's the nature of divine timing. When your recall pulls you into alignment with your purpose, your energy changes. You radiate a clarity, a strength, and a peace that cannot be faked. People sense it without you having to say a word. And that's when the same voices that once dismissed you start calling your name. But here's the truth. They won't find the version of you they remember. The old you is gone. You've crossed thresholds they can't step over. You've healed wounds they were still using to define you. You've stepped into light they're not ready to stand in. You're no longer accessible in the ways you used to be. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving them wrong. It's about boundaries, growth, and obedience to the season you're in. The butterfly doesn't return to the cocoon to explain its wings. It simply flies. And those who see it from the ground can only watch. There's a reason for this separation. Your presence in their old space would allow them to stay unchanged. But your absence, that becomes the message. It forces them to face the truth of what they ignored, and it challenges them to rise if they want to walk beside you again. Breathe with me. This can feel bittersweet. You may care for some of these people deeply. You may have prayed for reconciliation. You may have dreamed of them joining you in your purpose. And yet, in this season, the most loving thing you can do is continue forward without looking back. When they look for you again, they will notice the difference. Your voice will carry more authority. Your eyes will hold more peace. Your steps will have more intention. You will feel less like the person they remember and more like the person you were always meant to become. And some will try to pull you back into old patterns, using guilt, nostalgia, or even flattery. But you must remember, you are not returning to prove your worth. You are moving to fulfill your purpose. You are not required to reopen doors that heaven has closed. Think of the story the light tells when it moves out of reach. It's like the lighthouse. It doesn't run after every ship. It stays where it is, shining. The ships that need its guidance will come into view, and the ones that don't will keep drifting. Your role is to stay lit, not to chase. This shift also means your priorities will change. You'll no longer invest your time trying to convince people of your value. You'll no longer wait for their approval before taking your next step. The same energy you once used to explain yourself will now be used to expand yourself. You may notice something else. The ones who truly belong in your next chapter will meet you there without you having to ask. They will arrive aligned, prepared, and willing. They will not need to be persuaded to value you. They will already see the treasure you carry. And to those who come back only when they see your growth, you owe no bitterness, only clarity. You can wish them well while keeping your distance. You can bless them from afar without stepping back into places that once drained you. The transformation you've undergone is not just for you, it's a sign to others that change is possible. Even if they never tell you, your example will awaken something in them. Your absence from their old world may be the exact catalyst they need to begin their own transformation. So when they look for you again and can't find you where they left you, let that be okay. You are not lost. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. They are simply seeing the cost of not valuing you when you were within reach. Breathe one last time in this chapter. Inhale the freedom of knowing you do not have to go back. Exhale the weight of old expectations. The next steps are forward, always forward. Stay with me, because in the final prophetic words, we will seal this journey, reminding you that you've passed the test. The shift is now, and you are stepping fully into purpose with nothing holding you back. Chosen one, take this in. You have passed the test. Not the kind the world gives, marked by grades or applause, but the kind heaven gives, marked by endurance, by faith, by refusal to let the fire consume you. You have walked through seasons meant to break you, and instead, they have shaped you. You have endured silence without losing your song, darkness without losing your light, loss without losing your love. This is the moment your spirit has been sensing. The air around you has changed. The heaviness is loosening its grip. The fog is thinning. And though you may not see the full picture yet, you can feel it. The shift has already begun. You are not in the same place you were a year ago, a month ago, even a week ago. Something in you has risen. All the hidden years, the waiting, the unanswered prayers. They were never about delay. They were about formation. They were about building a foundation that could hold the weight of what is coming. What you thought was punishment was preparation. What you thought was absence was alignment. Breathe with me now. Let the air move deep into your chest. As you exhale, feel the release of everything you no longer need to carry. Old identities, old fears, old doubts. They have no place in where you are going. You are stepping into a season where clarity will replace confusion, where the whispers you've been hearing will become instructions you can act on, where what was once scattered will begin to come together. You will see why you had to walk through what you did, and it will make sense in a way it never has before. This next season is not about survival. It's about building. It's about taking the tools you've gathered in the wilderness and using them to create the life you were always meant to live. The pain you've endured has sharpened your discernment. The waiting has deepened your patience. The loneliness has refined your understanding of connection. All of it has made you ready. And here is the truth you must hold. God has been with you every step, even when you couldn't feel Him. Every tear was counted. Every prayer was heard. Every moment of strength you thought was your own was, in fact, His strength in you. You were never abandoned. You were being equipped. This is your time to walk with confidence. to step fully into the identity that has been forming within you all along. No more second-guessing. No more apologizing for your light. No more shrinking to make others comfortable. You are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out, to carry the message only you can carry. And when the doubts come, and they will, remember what you've already overcome. Remember the nights you thought you couldn't make it through but did. Remember the doors that closed and led to better ones opening. Remember the moments you thought you were alone and later realized you were protected. Chosen one. You are not entering this next chapter empty-handed. You are carrying wisdom, resilience, and a light that has been tested in the fire. That light will draw the right people, the right opportunities, the right moments into your path. You don't have to force it. You only have to walk in alignment with the one who called you. So here's your final activation. Type 1111 or 333 in the comments right now. Not for me, but as your declaration that you are ready. Ready to rise, ready to build, ready to live in the fullness of your purpose. Whenever the world gets too heavy, this space will be here. Come back to rest your soul, to remember who you are, to be reminded that you are not walking alone. The shift is here, the test is complete, and the next chapter begins now. Go forward, chosen one. The light in your chest is your compass, and it will not fail you.